Hey guys, welcome to Screaming into the Void, episode number 13. With me today, as always, is Steve, and then we have a special guest. You can introduce yourself.
I'm Ryan Nelson, aka Golden.
Alright, so we'll let these guys tackle most of today, except for maybe the end part. Today we're going to be talking about professional boundaries between leadership and subordinates, and then I'm going to take the helm near the end of this thing and talk about something that's been bothering me. But for now, you guys go right ahead.
All right,
Um,
Golden, go for it.
I just know as a human resources consultant and in the realm of HR, you know that you have that line between supervisor and supervisee or subordinate and subordinate, knowing that, like you said, those boundaries that you don't hang out with management, you don't socialize with management. They even have some instances where you don't follow management on social media at all. And because when you have those healthy boundaries there, that good, that good decisions are made, and there's no favoritism or no nepotism, because for example, one person will come in 10 minutes late, then this person comes in early, but because she's friends with the boss and she gets away with it. And that's just how the favoritism and the nepotism starts, and things just can kind of go downhill from there, so to speak.
hmm See, my thought on that is I agree with the keep your distance from your boss for fear of favoritism and nepotism because that brings into a lot of more higher end corporate issues with like if they're a publicly traded company then you can see issues with stockholders calling out the executives on how they're running their company and then that can lead to loss of financials for stockholders as well as executives and employees in the company. But I will say that having a more personable relationship with your higher up can make your job a bit easier. Like not in the sense that they'll let you get away with things, but more that you don't feel like there's this wall between you and them where they're your boss,
Right.
that's all they are. And what because when you're more personable with people, it's easier to talk to them. And that way, like, let's say like horrible thing happens, someone is being sexually harassed in the workplace and they are and they're being and their boss, like they've always viewed their boss as this big intimidating guy who like strictly business, no bullshit, nothing like that. Sorry about my language. Um and they would many people wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable going to him or her based on how they would react because they look at it from a strategic business sense rather than like a person to person sense. But if you have that personable relationship, it's easier to go and talk to people on that front and in many different cases as well, just like if you're trying to get a raise or if you're trying to understand a process at work better or something like that. So while I can see the side that it's good to prevent favoritism, nepotism, and there needs to be a barrier because like you can't be everyone's best friend kind of idea, the idea of just knowing kind of seeing your boss as a human and not just this like enigma of like superiority on you is there definitely needs to be a difference to be seen there.
Right, and I will agree with that. And I do agree with a medium to small business having that family-like atmosphere, and everyone gets along,
hmm
everyone gets the tools they need to do their job, and then there's no animosity, or the boss is a jerk and he won't talk to me. But at the same time, they got to learn, when you mess up, and you got to get a kick in the pants. That's just one thing, is I'm all for the small and good relationships and the small to medium business, but when you mess up, you got to get that kick in the pants. You're never gonna learn. That's just my thing.
well, absolutely, I would say that that's definitely a bigger that's something that should go without being said that like when you screw up you definitely have to be reprimanded for it, so to speak, as so long as it's well deserved and it's not like over the top or anything like that
Right.
and it's coming from the right person because like I've been in cases where I'll have my boss's boss come down and like ask me what I'm doing at work and I'll tell them exactly what I'm doing and my boss will come to me and he'll say like you shouldn't have said that, you messed this up, and I'm not really, I don't know I didn't know who this person was or anything like that. So I just kind of like gave them a generic answer instead of being like super specific or anything like that. So,
Right. Well, actually, I read a case study because I'm a member of the Society for Human Resource Management,
mhm.
and I did read a case study to where someone did file a lawsuit, and because the wrong supervisor terminated the employee, the court ruled in favor of the employee, saying that if in any of cases of termination or extreme disciplinary circumstances, the immediate supervisor must have direct interaction with the employee and not the non-immediate supervisor. So that is a key
Okay.
factor right there.
Right, right. So,
Let me explain why I chose this topic for today, right?
mhm.
So, as a new staff sergeant going back to work, I had a lot of interesting interactions with people that are still senior airmen or A1Cs. And naturally, what ends up happening, even though I don't like this much, is that there's now a bit of a difference, and there has to be a bit of difference respect wise between you and between them, right? Because
Right.
I'm an NCO and they're not. So there has to be a way between our a way we communicate. The problem being is just that a lot of times it's I think you either take it too far or maybe I'm just not taking it serious enough to where I think I'm the same guy, right? I just wear another stripe. But realistically, there is a difference because I am now a staff and I'm an NCO and they're still airmen. So I have to be a bit more responsible with what I do and what I say. I mean, me and my past supervisor, me and him were best friends. Like I know that if I talk to any of my actual supervisor the way I talk to my old one, because now we're the same ranks, we can't technically be my reporting official anymore, that I'd be in a shit ton of trouble. Like we gave each other so much crap. Like that's just how we worked. But he understood that me being as upfront and direct as I am, and not just being meant that he could communicate with me better, right? So me being that way was better for me and for him. But other people, it's not like that. Other people are like, you're going to act this way, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. There's none of this when you're talking to me, things like that. So I understand it to a degree, but at the same time, like I was trying to think of today, where is my line with people now? I'm still like in a really massive freaking gray area, trying to determine where I stand with people, because right now I don't know where I stand with a lot of people.
Okay.
I could
My
understand that.
mhm. My thought on that is, I guess for me it's hard because I don't hold any position of leadership over anybody. I have no management experience or anything like that. I only have like the grunt experience where you're just underneath people all the time. So take my thoughts on with a grain of salt or whatever. I really don't care, but my thought is, if you're like, you can be who you were before you were promoted when that calls for it, but when you need to be Staff Sergeant Martin, that's when you have to like almost put on the mask and kind of do that. And like, you have to be able to realize when you have to be Staff Sergeant Martin, or like A1C Martin, where you were before. Like, personality wise, like definitely not leadership wise, you always should be your highest rank and you have to be aware of that at all times. But like, off the clock and stuff, you kind of do whatever you want, I guess. Like,
To an
as long
extent,
as
yeah.
as long as it's not detrimental to the organization, obviously. But that's just my thought. It's just like, know where you have to be what, and you shouldn't. I personally would, if you were my staff sergeant, I don't think I have any issues with you, simply because I know you're doing your best to do your job, and you know you're doing your job.
And that's the thing. It's just for me in this kind of situation, right? Like I'm trying to treat the situation like nothing really has changed. But the hard realization is that things unfortunately have. Like I go back to work. I mean, hell, I go back in on my day off to handle stuff, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, you have troops now. You got to do this. You got to do that. You're going in this upgrade training. You got to do all this. You're handling this." And I'm like, "Oh, you guys are waiting till I came back to work to tell me all this? I'm here on my day off, and you're not telling me this? Okay." So yeah, they kind of just threw a whole lot at me at one time, and to a degree, it really upset me. But that's how the military works. You gotta grab a paddle real quick and start swimming, or just die, one or the other. I'm trying to think of a different
Sink or
expression.
swim.
There you go. So yeah, it's a sink or swim mentality. So I didn't like it, but it is what it is, and it's one of those weird things. You'll learn this too, Steve, when you get promoted to a actual like full blown leadership position. That it might seem dumb to you right now, or maybe not dumb, but different, like weird to you, because you're like, it can't be that much different, you know. But trust me, when you put on or have some type of authority that says, "Hey, I'm your boss," people are going to start acting a little bit different around you.
Oh, I know that. I mean, like, I guess the best experience I've had with that was like when I was in the Boy Scouts and I was a senior patrol leader, or I was a patrol leader, and then I was an assistant senior patrol leader, and I was like, I had a bunch of different quote unquote leadership roles, which it's basically I go to the parents, ask them what they want, and I just delegate down the line. But like the people that I would go on campouts and hang out with, like they would like I get this title, and then they're like, oh well, guess we can't hang out with him anymore. And I was like, why? And they're like, well, you're in charge of us now, so we really can't, like, we don't want you to get us in trouble, we don't want you to do this, like, blah blah blah. So I mean,
Yeah, and you know that's the thing. The thing is, initially you're thinking like it's not that serious. So either you're overreacting or underreacting, I should say, or they're overreacting, or there's a happy medium of both, maybe. To be honest, I don't really know. It's still something that I'm still trying to digest. I talked to some NCOs that I really trust, and I said, hey, how long does it take to really get in the groove of this? They said it takes about 6 months to a year before, like, you settle into your position.
Yep.
Because realistically, like, it's a lot at once. Like, you get all these responsibilities thrown at you. You have, you know, your whole new title to go under, all this other kind of nonsense, and
but you also have a lot more power and you have more jurisdiction now.
to an extent, yeah. Like as an NCO, I have the ability to do more naturally. Like I could tell the difference between like when I was a senior airman to now. Like just going back and working with some of the freaking people I worked with prior. When I put the rank on, like even just the lieutenants and captains that I work with treat me differently in a good way. But I know I could tell that difference, like of respect they just initially gave me, right? So it's kind of weird, and it's something that still I'm trying to get used to, because for me, like it may seem like BS now, but trust me, the kind of being the grunt and not being responsible for anything is awesome to an extent, because you have nothing to worry about but you and your job.
Oh right, I mean that's why a lot of people why they'll leave high school, take a job at a gas station, and never go anywhere in life, because it's simple, it's easy, they don't have to think.
Right, and to an extent, like my thing is like, yeah, initially it's great. You don't have any responsibilities. You don't have this. You don't have that. But like, for example, for that comparison's sake, right? It's the people that in the Air Force, the military, they're like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna stay at E4 my entire career, never promote. You know, E4 Mafia for life. You know, the jokes I used to make. Like, I get it. You know, it's funny. But after a while, you're just being complacent and you're not growing anywhere.
Right.
Because why be in if you're not even gonna try to grow anywhere?
Right. Exactly.
Because as human beings, if we don't take a dynamic risk, if we don't take a risk and explore outside of ourselves and push ourselves daily, then, you know, how are we going to go to the next steps in our lives? How are we going to learn those better things? How are we going to meet those better people? How are we going to get to that upper echelon where we want to be in life? I mean, do we want to stay up at the bottom, or do we want to keep climbing up? That's just the thing you always got to take into consideration.
Some people don't want to climb the ladder. They just kind of want to be told what to do because it's simpler for them.
Right, which, you know, to an extent, you know, I can understand, like, responsibility can be frightening to people. And, like, I'm in here.
It's easy to understand, but it's, at least in my opinion, it's definitely more rewarding to take it and, like, do something with it instead of just kind of saying, well, okay, I guess this is the end all be all. And
Well, the biggest thing for someone like me, right, is the acceptance of failure. Like, the fact that I'm going to fail at some point, maybe exponentially, maybe just a little bit, but I will at some point, right?
Right.
Like, it's that acceptance of, like, no matter what you do, you're going to have to fail to learn. And, you know, that's fine. But, you know, it's not, no one wants to fail.
No. But failure is necessary. I mean, you don't get better if you don't fail. Like, if you're perfect at everything your entire life, you don't realize you're perfect because you've never done any wrong anyways.
You know, it's not just a good comparison.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like in my hometown of Louisiana, the gentleman Al Copeland with Popeyes. If he wouldn't have kept trying 6 times, Popeyes wouldn't exist today, and it took him 6 times to get it open.
Right.
Yeah, it's expensive, but it's good.
Yeah.
Rob me of like $14 every time I go there.
We don't have Popeyes here.
No, you're missing out,
One.
man. It's
We
good.
have one in the area.
Oh, I was gonna say no. There is one. I've been to it,
Yeah.
but it's a drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of my reasoning for picking this topic was like trying to find that boundary because for me, I mean, it was odd. Like this might sound dumb, but when I first joined, I really never saw myself being an NCO like ever. For some reason, I like mentally excluded myself from ever holding that rank. For some reason, like I never thought like I would be picked or be able to promote to it. I thought it was like something unattainable that I just would never get. And then literally the exact opposite happened. I made it the quickest you fucking can.
Yep.
Like I promoted in 3.5 years, which in the Air Force is really quick. Like on average, most people promote to staff sergeant in the Air Force in about 5.7 years, and here I'm sitting at it in 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's quick, and that's why like I feel sometimes that I probably should have waited. Hey, I want your teeth. Sorry, cat. But other times I feel like it was a good idea to push myself, and it's like trying to find out like what do I think was better. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter because I made the decision, and now I literally have to deal with it.
Yep.
Well, I mean, kind of going back to what you said. Well, no, that's not dumb when you first go into something, because we just kind of, because I'm kind of the same. Like, oh, I'm never gonna get that. Oh, I'm never gonna have it. Oh, I'm never gonna have that thing. Oh, I'm never gonna get there. And then before you know it, I've been working, and I'm going, oh, I got the thing I never said I was gonna get. So that's just normal. We just feel that way, and I guess we just kind of work at it. And if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. In a way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think, for Steve, I mean, I think the biggest thing for him, I mean, I'm speaking for you, so please correct me if I'm wrong, it would never really be holding a position, it would be finally starting his own company, right?
I mean, I would say holding a position will be, like, this like, I guess for me, it's more about, like, goal setting. It's not like, for me, I don't say, oh, I'll never make it. It's like, what do I have to do to make it? So,
Right.
like, for me, it's like I'll say I want to be an upper level manager at X, Y, and Z company. What do I got to do that? Like X amount of years of experience, certifications. Do I need an extra degree? Do I need an X amount of dollar time doing this or that? Or I look at it as what does it take to accomplish that, and then I gauge whether or not it's a reasonable goal for me to set. Like for me, like starting my own company, that's definitely like my end all be all for that. But at the same time, it very well may never happen simply because of like if let's just say like economy does a 180 or like medical emergency or family emergencies, things like life happens. So it can't be like this set in stone thing. It's just kind of like you go with the flow. But like my current goal right now is I gotta go and graduate college. Gotta get my 4-year degree. And I look at it like, what does it take? I gotta do my internship, and I've got 2 other classes I have to do. Once I accomplish that, then it's on to the next goal.
But I mean, Steve, at the end of the day, if you wanted to open a company, I mean, there is so much resources. I mean, even free resources.
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
it's
But people would argue that there's just as many resources to move up in a company in like the private sector or the public sector. Like, let's say I wanted to like be the general manager of a Best Buy or something. But my only experience was working the cashiers there. I'd have to look into what it takes to do that. But Best Buy being a company and like a publicly traded company has the resource that I can look into and find out what I need to do and move up the corporate ladder, so to speak, that way. But let's get back on topic here with the one thing I wanted to hit was where do you where do you as a leader have to draw the line when interacting with your subordinates?
So I feel like ultimately that's a case-by-case basis, right? Like, so for me, I always tried to be as hands off of a troop as possible. Like I always try to make my supervisor's life easier whenever I could, because if their life is easy, that means mine is easy.
Yep.
They're not down my throat. I get to do my job. Everyone's left alone, and everyone is happy.
Yep.
Like, to me, that's easy. So, but other people are not like that. I mean, for example, a buddy of mine didn't know this, and I didn't even know this, that when you're in ALS, right, you are actually responsible for your troops, whether you know it or not, even before you graduate. So a buddy of mine was getting a call when he was still in ALS, this was months ago, that, hey, by the way, your troop got paperwork. And he's like, okay, like, what do you want me to do about it? Well, I mean, we're just letting you know you should do something about it. Like, I'm in ALS and I haven't graduated yet. What the hell am I supposed to do? Like, well, you're a supervisor. What am I supposed to do? I haven't finished yet. I can't do anything about it. Like, you know, some people, as much as I hate it, are just problem children, and they don't learn, or they get too wrapped up in themselves, because that's my big thing about military, is that a lot of airmen I've seen, at least where I'm at, join, I mean, everyone kind of joins for a selfish reason, but people let the selfish reason cloud what they actually have to do. People are like, well, I only joined for this, so I'm not going to put any effort in. No, you signed a 4 to 6 year contract. You still have to do your job. I don't care if you don't care that much. I do care that it's done right. So.
Well, Martin, let me ask this question. So say it was you, and say you got the phone call that one of your troops got paperwork. Kind of like in the interim, can you do like an emergency counseling on the phone, and then when you get back, do like a more face-to-face counseling and really follow up and document? Can you do in that situation, or what's the official rules, so to speak?
So that's the good thing. Well, not the good thing. The one thing about being a supervisor in the Air Force, it's kind of all up to what you want to do. So, I mean, you don't have unlimited authority to do discipline how you feel necessary. There are checks and balances of people above you to make sure you're not abusing your authority. However, if you wanted to call him and say what's going on, like why are you acting up, he could do that. If he wanted to wait till he got out of ALS, which I don't know what he did, he could have done that. If he wanted to literally walk into work right then and there, write an MFR, memorandum for record, and be like you're fucking up, knock it off, he could have done that too. Like, it all depends on what he wanted to do, what he felt was necessary. It all also depends on what he got called in, like what the guy did. If he did something bad, then he would have had to handle it right there. If he just did something stupid, it probably could wait till after.
Okay, well, I just kind of wonder, because, like, from the HR world, you know, it's kind of like they go, no, that's a no. You really can't counsel a supervisee over the phone. You got to wait to get back in the office and do it in person, or, tell X person to do it, then you follow up when you get back. Because if it just, kind of went to a further disciplinary, to a court martial, or just to a proceeding, just how would the evidence look if that were to ever be presented in a court of law, so to speak? That's what my primary concern would be.
It depends on them, because of the standing of how the military functions. There's a bit more leeway with how people choose to operate, right? Again,
Okay.
It's not unlimited, but there is a bit more you can do. I mean, counseling over the phone is not going to be officially documented, right? It's more or less a quick checkup of what are you doing and why are you doing it.
Okay.
So it depends on the individual and how they want to handle it. Some supervisors, that's the one thing too, is just that some people are really hands off, like laissez-faire, right? Like they're just
Right.
They couldn't care less, and some people are just so soft spoken that their troops can't take them seriously, which is an unfortunate reality. Like there are some sergeants that are just so quiet or so timid or whatever that their subordinates just cannot take anything they do seriously. Which is
And do
unfortunate.
they delegate counseling?
No, because as the direct supervisor, they have to be the one to do it. And if
Okay, they have to do it. Okay.
and if their above leadership does it for them, guess who gets in trouble? The direct supervisor. Yeah.
Right.
Because you're failing to do your job. So, that's the trade-off there, is that if you fail at being accountable for them, because everything they do is a direct reflection on you, which is something that I never liked, because I'm like, I only want to be responsible for me and me alone. Why do other people's failures come back on me? But, that's what comes with the rank, right? That's just something that you have to deal with. And you'll learn with that no matter where you go as a leader or supervisor. I'm sure Steve can tell you the same thing, that his bosses, his crew is still responsible for what they do, even if he's not there. I don't like it. I think it's stupid, but it is what it is.
I will say the one good thing about being an intern is that if my boss isn't around, there is no work for me to do. So there's no way I can really get in trouble unless I start running my mouth.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I don't do that. Like I'll give you an example. This last Friday, it was the 5th. My supervisor was off. He took off for the 5th because, 4th of July, people get completely wrecked and have just an absolute blast. We all know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
Me and 4 other people, I believe it was, were the only people that were in the office out of a team of over 10 people.
Okay.
And so we had nothing to do. There was nothing going on. And because me and the other intern, our supervisor wasn't there, we had no tasks for the day. There was no laptops to update, there was no cable to run, and if you asked anybody else, they'd say, "Is X person here?" No. Well, then I have nothing for you, and that'd be the end.
And then you're hourly, right? I'm assuming you're definitely not salary.
Yeah, I'm hourly. I don't mind it because then I get paid for literally doing nothing.
That's the one feeling about the military that's kind of like good and bad too. A lot of hurry up and wait. Like today, like I felt bad because there was nothing going on at work today. And our new DO, Director of Operations, the guy like right underneath the commander comes in and he's just checking all of us kind of just goofing around doing whatever. And he's like, "What's going on? Why aren't you guys doing stuff?" And we're like, "There's just nothing going on. No one needs our help. It's a really slow day, not a whole lot going on, so we're all just kind of having fun. We had a potluck at work, right? Like not a whole lot going on, but I know we're probably going to get some shit on Wednesday when I walk into work like you were watching YouTube videos or whatever the hell." And I'm like, "Look, there was nothing to do. Like I'm not going to do the Air Force answer of bettering myself and, improving my Air Force well-being. Like, screw you." Because that's the answer. Like, we have nothing to do. You could always better yourself or educate yourself. Oh, shut up. You don't even do that.
What does that mean?
It means you could do CBTs, you could do online training, you could take a class, How dare you ever want to watch YouTube videos and just, listen. That's what I do. Like, I just like listening to, like, videos and stuff while I work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something people like, but, I mean, it's something that I do.
Yeah. Well, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I know. After a while, I kind of just gave up on that.
I mean, what do they expect you to do? Mop the floors?
Well, seeing as how we work on a carpet, no, I guess not.
Or vacuum the floors? Or...
No, it's not my responsibility, so I'm not doing it.
Right, exactly.
Alright.
So, Martin, when you were in ALS, if heaven forbid anything goes before a court of law or a court martial, did they go over legal procedures and legal proceedings and what you're supposed to do if any of your supervisees gets any kind of legal trouble?
I mean, as their direct supervisor, I would probably have to be present for some of it, but we weren't really told a whole lot of what happens at that. Anything revolving around a court martial is going to be handled by much higher leadership than me.
Oh, right.
So I will be initially told I will probably have to be there for their initial discipline, but when the actual court martial goes under proceedings, that's going to be done by senior NCOs and higher ranking officers. That's not going to be done by me.
So basically, do you have to get those 2 a.m. calls? Well, Airman Billy screwed up, and he.
It's not that serious.
Okay.
A court martial punishment means you really, really, really fucked up. Like that's
right.
you are probably going to actual prison as a result. But no, those aren't common phone calls. Like I don't. That's maybe a few times in your career you'll maybe get that phone call. Maybe.
Okay.
Anything else?
Personally, no. This one's for mostly you guys on here.
I mean, I really, again, I don't have the experience to really be a viable source of information for this topic, so...
Right, well, I mean, I know this is kind of a segue. This kind of goes into, to accountable leadership and management, in instances of sexual harassment, when supervisors have buried their head in the sand and the company didn't address it. And, then before you know it, they're all dragged into court having to pay out $1 million judgment. And they're going to go, well, Supervisor Bob, why didn't you do anything about it? You were told, blah, 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 and that's just, just if it's just one little small thing, if one little small thing is not done, it can just be a catastrophe from there and just go downhill. And I've seen it firsthand.
The military being as accountable as it is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because typically speaking, only the people involved need to be involved. The problem is that a lot of the times people get dragged into nonsense that they have nothing to do with. Right? Like it's unfortunate, and you'd like to think that in service, even people would be above like causing petty high school drama. No, that's still a very prevalent thing. Like I've been to work and I'd say high school all over again, but with uniforms on. Sometimes it's genuinely
High
pathetic.
school never ends.
Pretty much, yeah.
That one song I think was Bowling for Soup. High school never ends.
It's just like that, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's the military, corporate world. Like I work in the school system, like as an intern, so.
Right, so you get my point that like it just seems that no matter what you do, people just don't get out of the high school mentality. Like there are some NCOs that I straight up would just I give them respect purely for what they know on the job, but I've told them like, or maybe not told them, but think anyway that they're just trash human beings. Like the ones that like create cliques or create groups within their shops that like disregard other airmen or NCOs and like treat them like shit. Like I've seen that before, and you'd like to think that people wouldn't do that, but it happens a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean that's.
Oh, it happens more than you'll ever know.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I see it all the time, and it's disappointing because that's literally what you're not supposed to do. And while having favorites and creating biases is human nature, like you're gonna be kinder to people you like. It's just how it is, and no amount of training telling you to not be biased or to recognize your biases is gonna really stop that. It takes years of leadership experience to truly recognize your biases and your personal favoritism and be able to stop it where it is. Some maybe sooner than others, but my opinion is it's happened sooner or later rather than sooner. At least that's me though. Like, yeah, I don't know. I get really upset whenever I see that nonsense.
I still get upset to this very day, and I'm 31 years old, and it irks me to my core, but at the end of the day, there's really nothing you can do about it.
Well, that's the other
You know
thing
what I
too
mean?
is that managing what's in your realm of control. Like, no matter how much, not authority, but how much you think you control, like there's always another echelon of check above you, and it's upsetting when you know a problem and you know how to fix it, but you can't because you lack the authority to actually fix it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like my buddy came in to relieve me today, and he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're doing all this stupid nonsense now, and these people are stupid and messing all this nonsense up." And I'm like, "Oh great, so this all happened when I was gone." He's like, "Essentially, yeah. Like now we're doing all this extra nonsense that we don't have to do, and no one told you, obviously, because I'm the first one apparently telling you." So, yeah, there's that too.
That sounds like that's pretty common.
Unfortunately, yeah. Those people will fail to communicate and then blame you for not knowing when to do things. Like you should have done this, but no one communicated it to me. Like that's
Right,
such a common thing.
I'll give you a really, really great example of how connected people get through connected. I have a friend. He's a great guy. He runs a planning and engineering firm here in town. You know, board certified planner and economic developer. The airport authority at Chenault wanted to hire him, and they sat down with him, and they wrote the job just for him. They did everything to get him ready. They trained him. They groomed him, and he thought he was going to get the job. But then, lo and behold, this other company did a land deal for the airport. And the real estate firm and the airport were kind of chummy with each other. And then, one thing led to another. My friend got passed over for the job. The other guy got it, but then he only lasted in the job a year because he was a big screw up.
Yeah,
And he was highly qualified for that job.
That's pretty. As much as I hate saying it, that's pretty common.
Yep. I've seen that happen over and over. And, like, it'll happen for, like, not even, like, it just happens for the most ridiculous of reasons where, like, a third party that shouldn't even be involved says something, like, one time, and, like, people lose their jobs over it like that. I mean, I've seen
Oh,
that
yeah.
happen.
My cat's an idiot. She just ran face first into the desk.
Is that that
Oh.
slang I heard?
Yeah, she just ran face first into a pole.
I hope she's okay.
Oh, she's fine. She's just an idiot.
Okay.
Because she's pouncing around like nothing ever happened.
Oh.
But she's still an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, unfortunately that's really common. And as much as I hate admitting it, like you'd like to think that realistically none of this should ever happen in a professional environment. But people at every level are just not trash, but are just still unfortunately human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure.
Remember, like, one of my favorite YouTubers, right? This is kind of a weird example, but I think it's a decent one. Like, they were. I was watching the video from like Steve. Do you remember the? This is a gaming example. This is a gaming example, Steve. Do you remember that loot box scandal that EA had 2 years ago?
I think so.
So basically, the Battlefront 2 game that came out. Remember how the loot boxes were so intricately linked to the game's progression system that
Yes.
like it would have taken like thousands of hours to unlock everything, and it would have taken a minimum of like 40 non-concurrent, current only gameplay hours to unlock one hero. Right? Like, the reason I bring this up is because I'm like, a business such as EA, such as this, responded to this situation so freaking poorly. They, at the time, had the most downvoted post in Reddit history with negative 680,000 downvotes because of this. Yeah, I know you're on Reddit. Imagine that.
Yeah.
You'd think a professional company, well, EA professional, maybe they don't go hand in hand, but the joke aside, like, you'd think that at some point they would understand how to properly conduct themselves, even Bethesda in the recent years. But no. No matter how good you are or how far you make it, you're still fallible, whatever the word is. I can't English. You're still fallible to human nature. And the unfortunate reality is that those examples are utterly hilarious because there's just so many levels of failure from every level. You have leadership people just allowing this nonsense to happen. Then you have developers pushing for this. Then you have, like, I remember reading a post that's saying that if anyone at EA protested the game's design, they were immediately on the spot canned. Like, right then and there, you're fired, get out.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's something, isn't it?
Or it's like I can give you an even crazier. I remember, being in Louisiana, were devastated by Hurricane Katrina, and to prevent flooding or like a risk mitigation, there was this money called ICC money where people could, like you're like literally taking a house and you're raising it up off the ground. So the big rush was, and you're gonna think it's hilarious. Everyone from hair salons to anyone you can think were getting in line to opening a business, leveling, insuring houses, had no experience, wasn't a contractor, didn't know one end of the other from other, didn't know what they were doing, and they were handing out the money. Then people's houses were getting screwed up. Then it got so bad. Then they finally started enforcing the rules to where you had to be a licensed contractor, you had to hold a bond, and then they checked you inside out before you were able to start raising houses. But it shouldn't have been like that from Jump Street.
Again, it's a matter of no matter how good or professional you think you are, there's always going to be ways to try and skim off the top, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But I want to move on now, unless you guys have something else to say.
No, I'm
good.
done. So, I mean, Steve, do you have anything you'd like to add before we move on?
I'm good.
Okay. So I already told Steve about this, but I'm going to kind of retell a story. This happened to me on the 4th of July, and this is why I was as upset as I was. So I went to a party with members of my ALS class, and me being me and not being social, I'm like, okay, these people I know, I trust them, it's okay. Went out of my way to buy a beer, I bought snacks, like I was very invested in trying to have a good time. I actually went in with the idea that this is going to be a good night. Something that's, if you're me, and Steve knows this, is not common for me. So, and then people, about 30 to 45 minutes, maybe longer, and I don't remember. I started drinking pretty early on. I finished that entire six-pack by myself, and then had some more stuff later on. I was pretty drunk by the end of it. People I didn't know started showing up, and that's fine. I was like, okay, these are weird people. I don't know. They're kind of like people you don't know when they show up to a party that you think are only going to have certain people. It kind of kills your buzz, you know? Like, I don't know who these people are. I don't want them here, but, it's not your call to make. Anyway, so when that happened, there's none other than this one woman just went out of her way to insult me at every possible turn, and I don't understand why. And like as I'm sure both of you and obviously know, I obviously use a lot of self-deprecating humor to help deal with my issues. Like, if my streams didn't give that away enough, I'm sure my tweets or my Discord does. It's pretty obvious if you know me for more than 10 minutes. And I started making those jokes normally, and then she's just like, dude, you stop being so sad, you're so depressing, and all this other kind of nonsense. And I'm like, life's not that bad, bro. I'm like, you don't know me. So let's not do this right now, shall we? And then not even that, but like I started making more of my jokes about me, and I was drunk too, so that didn't really help. And remember, like I made some joke to the effect of that, like something to do with like trash or something garbagey. The effect of like, yeah, that's like dating me, jokingly, because her boyfriend was there. He was ironically much cooler than she was. And then she looks at me with the most outlook of disgust I've ever seen on a woman's face, like someone just pooped on her counter. All right, like straight up, just took a massive shit on her counter, and she's just like, ugh. Right. That's the look she gave me at the idea, not that I was even suggesting it, because trust me, I'm not, that she date me, right? But trust me, I was not even remotely suggesting it, because she wasn't too good looking herself. But anyway, only difference is I wasn't going to fucking say that, but regardless. And then the icing on the cake for me had to be like, so they're playing a lot of fucking trap and Mexican dance music. And to me, both of those types of music sounds kind of the exact same after you've been listening to it for about an hour. It's kind of all the same nonsense, but hey, that's just me. Obviously, I don't like that kind of music too much. My taste varies, but it depends on the mood I'm in. But I don't listen to Mexican dance music, and I sure as well don't listen to trap that much. Because I like to think I have taste. I'm kidding. But still. So, as we went on, and then I remember I played a song called Thank God It's Friday by Ice Nine Kills. And it's a metal song, but it's definitely not an emo song by any stretch of the means. It's a metal song, sure, but it's about Friday the 13th and Jason. Like, it's an odd song for a party, I know, but A, I was drunk, and B, I'm like, I'm getting sick of listening to this same old crap. Like, I want to change it up a little bit, and everyone else was fine with it. It's like, yeah, man, it's a party, Like, we're all here to have fun, play whatever you want, as long as everyone gets a chance. It's like, cool. Some people played a lot of different things. Some people even play country. You all know how I feel about that. So...
Oh, yeah.
So, with the minute I play the one song, not even like 30 seconds into it, this bitch literally started saying, oh my god, stop playing the sad emo shit. I'm like, okay, you know what? Alright, I'm getting mad. I'm getting freaking frustrated with you. Like, there's no reason for that. And then I played the one song, and that was it. And I was really happy just bumping out to that song on my own, even if people weren't joining me. And... literally, through the duration of the night, like the next 2 or 3 hours that she was present, she couldn't stop bringing it up. She was like, oh, I'm glad we're not playing that sad emo bullshit. Like, we played so much of it. I'm like, I played one 4-minute song one time. I don't know how retarded you are, but I don't know how much you've drank, but I played one song. And then the icing on the cake of all of it had to be, the minute she leaves, she looks at me and goes, she's like, bye everyone, and she looks at me with the most condescending look on her face, like, life's not that bad, bro. I literally looked at her and said, please fucking crash your car. Like, I was so angry. I'm like, all right, look, me personally, as mean as a person as I can be in certain regards, there's few things that I won't do. And one thing I will not do is insult someone's music taste. Reason being is that music means a lot to me. So, no matter how I feel about country music, no matter how I feel about trap or Mexican dance music, I don't know what that music means to people. I don't know what it means to you. So I will outright say I don't like this genre, but I'm not going to, say I hate the song or stop playing this crap, because
Right.
how could I know what that means to you? I don't know. So I'm not going to degrade it in front of you. Because for me, and Steve can tell you this, music means a lot. My entire sleeve is music based. Like, it's pretty obvious. So, and if like,
For Old Town Road, that shit can go.
yeah, no, that has no place in society whatsoever. But, and that's the thing. I'm just like, if I really, really wanted to, I can play you sad emo music. I can. Trust me, I could. That song wasn't it. While someone else takes the reign, I will put the song in the Discord and y'all can listen to it on your own time. Because I think you've heard Stephen Golden. You probably, no offense, but you probably haven't.
No, none taken.
But yeah, so I mean, like I understand straight up, like I understand maybe I was a bit of a mood killer, but then again, we're all drunk. It's a pool party. We're all having fun. Like I played one song. I mean, I get it. I didn't play the cucaracha, and I didn't play LSD on whatever the hell for trap music. I don't listen to trap. I don't know what people name their nonsense. Point being, though, is just that realistically, I get that. But to outright insult me a lot and then to go that far, I'm like, look, I don't know you. And from what I've been told, people don't like working with you clearly, which is why you got relegated to be working on your own, which is kind of ironic. But you don't need to outright insult people like that. But that's just me. Like,
No.
I don't see the purpose in that. Like, if someone were to basically go to a party that you host, right? Like, because Steve can tell you this, a party that say I host, and or that you do, and you're playing whatever it is you want to play. It's your party, and people are coming up to you and be like, "Hey, man, I don't really like this music. Can you switch it?" My initial answer would be one of two things: either A, get the fuck out. It's my party. Deal with it or leave. Or B, if I'm a bit calmer and not as drunk, it would be sure. What would you like to listen to? Try to give a little bit of leeway to both sides. Likely it'd be the
Sure.
latter, but joking aside, that's my point. It's just that I don't understand why people feel the need to degrade people in front of others because ironically she'd only ever say these things when other people were present, which I felt was purposeful. Don't really know why, but yeah. Yeah, that's just me though. So Steve's already
It just kind of goes back
told
to
me
a
tell this story.
psychology thing. Like when people are in front of a group and they can kind of get to do something at someone else's expense, they kind of get that power. Oh, I did it. I just did it. I did it. And that's kind of what it can boil down to sometimes also. And if that would have been me, I would have said, I'm allowed to play the song, and if you don't like it, find the nearest door and get out, because that's all I'm about to tell you. Because if you don't like it, too bad, so sad, leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what I would have did.
The link is in the Discord and it's now in the stream chat for anyone who's curious that is listening. But yeah, that was my thing. It's just that maybe I'm just overthinking this, and again, me being as drunk as I was, because I don't, as Steve can tell you, I don't drink nearly as much as I do anymore. So, I'm sorry, I will phrase that. I don't drink as much as I used to. So, I kind of went balls to the wall out of random. I didn't really build up to it. So, I mean, it was a lot for me at one time. So naturally, when I'm already kind of going through a lot, that's going to change my opinions and change, how I react to certain situations. Because initially, I was furious. I'm like, look, I don't know what I did to piss this hoe off, but yeah, like that's how upset that I was, and I'd like to hear your opinion on it, Steve.
Which part?
The either
The
the
whole.
the whole thing in general.
All right. I mean, for the most part, I agree with you simply because like music means a lot to you. I know that much, and I know you. I know you specifically don't like when people like shit all over your music taste because even though it's not really conventional, it's still like music. And I mean, I've like I've been in the case where like the opposites happened actually, where like people are like, oh, like Steve, you've got shotgun. That means you're like the DJ, and I'm like, I'm like, I'll play music, but you guys probably won't like my music taste. And they're like, just play it. And like, it ended up like starting a conversation about like a heavy metal like genre, like with like a group of friends that had no real interest in it, but by the end of it, they like appreciated it and stuff. And it was kind of cool, like kind of how you do that. But I've also been in situations where like I've played 15 seconds of one song and I was told, or rather, I wasn't told. Someone from the back seat reached up to my radio and turned it off. And that was when I was like I literally was like, what the fuck was that? Sorry, like pardon my language, but I was like, what the actual was that? And they're like, oh, I didn't like it. I'm like, you can say something. Don't touch my radio. Like,
They
that's like,
touched it in your car?
yeah, no, I was driving my car and I put
Oh,
on a song and they reached from the back seat. They didn't even have a shotgun. They reached from the back seat and hit turned off the radio.
that was
That was like,
incredibly rude.
oh yeah, no, like I was very tempted to like lock up the brakes and like pull over and be like, you can walk.
Mm.
Like And I was like, you can tell me that you don't like the music choice, and then I can change it for you. But don't touch my radio. They're like, sorry, I mean, I didn't really think about it. I'm like, well, that's your problem. You need to think about it because this isn't your car. This isn't your music. Your phone's not connected, and you're in the back seat, so you have no right to do anything in the front half of the car. Like, I literally went off on them for like 10 minutes about why they were wrong in every aspect. And I did end up making them feel pretty bad, but I didn't really care because like you just frankly outright disrespected me. And then the
It's
whole
just
group
like
like,
it's just like an old saying. Just some people have no home training.
yeah, I mean, like my thought is like I might not like your taste in music. I might vocalize that, but if you go to turn it off, I'll be like, I'll let you finish your song. Like, I'll let you finish your song. Like, and if the majority of the group like that genre of music, I'll stay quiet and you can play what you want because I'm not the majority.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's just like what they were playing weren't things that I liked at all. But I was totally
Right.
fine with just listening to it. And it was what it was because I knew I wasn't the majority. However, I feel like when I do play something, it's basic human decency to not just outright trash it in
Right.
front of
Right.
everybody for no reason. Like I get it because everyone else didn't have a problem with it. Like it's not what I like, but it's something. You know what I mean? Like it's not a big deal. It's one song. It's 4 minutes of your life. Take it or leave it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like it's
Yeah,
not like I said I want to play my entire Amity set list. I didn't
Oh
do
my
that
God.
because then I could understand being upset a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm
No,
kind of
I mean, if I was there, I would have encouraged that. Like, but you know how I am. I'm a horrible influence on all my friends, music wise, and like,
well, this is the problem. The people that I knew there didn't have a problem with it. It was the people that didn't know me that started a little bit of nonsense. Mostly just the one person though. Everyone else kind of, from what I saw, didn't truly care that much. But then again, I was kind of in my own zone when that was happening.
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's small stuff like that. I mean, it's all about that basic human courtesy. Like, if I understand that if you don't like it, it is what it is. Again, I've been in situations numerous times. I mean, hell, every single time I go home on leave, my dad and my stepmom play country and stuff I don't like, and I start right tell them like, look, I don't like this, but it is what it is. It's your car. It's I'm in here. It's whatever. But whenever I would play, like metal or like after we went to Warped Tour, I got really into Wage War for a bit. And I still love Wage War.
Yep.
I started playing like Don't Let Me Fade Away and Gravity and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, why do we have to listen to this? I'm like, you don't have to do this in front of me. Like, I get it, you don't like it, but it's you don't have to literally just do it in front of me. Do it on your own time.
Mhm.
I don't know. I take that
That's
stuff
one part
personally.
that's one part like I wouldn't agree with. Like if someone's gonna talk crap about like my like choice in music, like I'll just like I'd rather be there so I can at least have a chance to defend it rather than just badmouth it and don't have a chance to change their perspective on it.
Right, but in this current situation with them, I kind of knew they weren't going to change their opinion regardless. So I knew.
In general.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you, but like in that current situation, is like I'm gonna be talking to a wall. I know that. I know that.
Build the wall.
Did you just
Yeah.
say build the wall?
Yes.
Oh my god.
No, but
Yeah, that was just kind of the one thing I wanted to touch on a little bit.
yeah. I mean, we hit on that, and I think we hit on
You
everything.
just you got to show respect to people, and if you're at a party, I mean, I guess you got to be the jukebox police, and you got to police the jukebox, and you got to say, look, this is Martin's 4 minutes. He gets to play this song. He is entitled to do it because I gave him permission. And if you don't like it, please go outside or please leave.
Mhm.
That's what I would
Yeah.
do.
That's how the world should be.
I mean, what we got to go back to elementary school, and everyone's got like, okay, little Billy, here's your ticket to play your song, and you wait in line, and here's your ticket, and here's your ticket. I mean, is that what this world's come to? But in 2019, but
It quite possibly could come down to that eventually,
At some
Yeah.
point, yeah, it very well could.
but hopefully not. See, the secret is that you don't associate with people who do that.
No, my secret is you don't associate with people at all.
I mean, yeah, but you're associating with us.
Well, yes, but not physically. I can just end this call right now and just dip out when I want to. I can't do that physically.
I mean, you can. It's called a smoke bomb.
Ninja!
Smoke bomb, be gone!
And then all of a sudden you just hear me choking like, oh God, those don't actually work. Oh, God.
Like at the door frame, kind of like I ran into the door because I couldn't see.
You just hear it go like, and then you hear what? Like what just happened? Why is Martin on the ground? I didn't know I didn't know the door was closed. Oh God.
Oh God, that's literally what would happen though.
Just ran face first into a wall.
I would be the type of person to knock myself out on a grand exit.
I have literally Looney Tunes myself before, like, so at my aunt's, and actually at the last party I went to, not the one in the fourth, but the one we had before that, I don't know what it is with me and screen doors, man, but like every time I drink, I forget there's a door somewhere.
Dude, I've done that before. Like,
So like this, like the makers of Windex pissed me off because this shit was crystal clear, right? I didn't know the door was closed, so I'm walking in, I'm doing a joke or something, so I go to walk inside and I'm like stumbling all over the place, and all of a sudden you just hear this, BAM! And all of a sudden I just freaking Bugs Bunny myself on the floor, just knocked clean out. And like, did Martin just like walk? Like, did he just freaking try to walk into the door? Like, yeah. Like, it was funny, but if I actually like walked through it and broke the glass, I probably would have died. But that didn't happen, so no, we're good. But no, I freaking like maybe not Bugs Bunny, but I freaking Daffy ducked myself into a wall.
yeah, that definitely happened.
Duck season, fire!
I've definitely done that before. Like, I remember specifically there was this one time where this was before I even drank, so it's like I didn't even have a use. It was just, I got really excited. Like my friend arrived and he was walking around the back of my house to the back patio, and like I was like, oh snap, my buddy's here, and I like full on like run up the stairs from my basement right out to the back room, and it wasn't glass, it was just a screen door, but like I ran right into that screen door and took that fucker down with me. Like my mom just like, cause you just hear a crash and like I like stumbled and fell and like I'm like laying on the screen door on the ground and she's like, what happened? I'm just like, the door shouldn't have been where it was. And she's just like, what does that mean? I'm like, it means you need to get a new screen door and you're not gonna ask any questions.
It's like, look, I don't know who put that door there, but they're an asshole.
Oh, I don't know who put that door there, but I want them fired and then I want them shot.
It reminds me of like when I was a lot younger. I went to my aunt's house, and this is way before I could drink. So I was like maybe like 12 or 13, and like I was fighting with my dad about something. So I was getting all mad, and I stormed into the other room. But again, the door was closed, and I was looking at him, and not where I was walking. All of a sudden, you just hear dong. You just hear me hit the floor, like completely just freaking knocked out, and everyone's just laughing hysterically. And then they pick me up like, did you know the door was there? I'm like, I guess not.
Yeah. My dad's favorite line is like, if you trip or run into something, like hey, careful, the door really jumps out at you. Like,
oh my God, man! It's like, really? I really have to deal with this.
really? Now I'm angry and I might have a concussion. This isn't fun.
Like, now I'm angry, hungry, and surprisingly turned on. This is bullshit.
Well, you said it, not me.
Well, it is me after all.
Or you know what's even funny? I know this is kind of funny, sad, and devastating all at once. Is people you see the videos of people texting, like running into doors with coffee, falling in fountains, bumping into people on sidewalks. It is funny, but it's also sad at the same time too.
Yeah, you know what's really, really funny but really sad? People falling out of wheelchairs.
That's so terrible.
No, a runaway wheelchair is sad.
Get up, wheelie. Fucking terrible people, man. Get up, wheelie.
No, the worst thing I ever heard was a kid at scout camp. He like broke his leg and like he still wanted to go and participate in his merit badges, so like he was rolling like slowly across like a parking lot. He like hit a rock and flipped, and you just hear someone across the parking lot yell, "Just walk it off!"
Oh my God.
Like I was like, "Oh my God, don't say that."
That's so terrible, man.
Yeah.
It's just like those stupid jokes I see on Twitter all the time. Like, how are people homeless? Like, just go home. It's like, what? Or like the military memes is like, I'm an officer solving enlisted problems. Just stop being poor.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, totally. I'll get right on that, dude.
Have you just tried not being human trash? No.
Well, look, man, I can't fight my nature. I can only do so much. Like, I don't know. I think you anticipate way too much from me.
Yeah.
Especially from the guy who's like...
Way more than I'm willing to give, so I'm going to have to tell you right now that that's not...
You're talking to the guy who just admitted to walking into a screen door twice in his life, and only one time was being drunk an actual excuse.
Oh, it was like, here's an even funnier story. There was this woman where I used to live at in Slide Out, and her husband paid for her to get a lot of plastic surgery, and she had a big pair of you-know-whats. And men would check her out so hard that they would run to that 3-man ran to her mailbox while they were checking her out.
That's something I would do.
Reminds me of like those memes of like guys crashing their cars from staring at a woman too long when they're driving on the road.
Yeah, that's happened before.
Oh, I know it's happened before. Like it's interesting. I've seen people. Okay, maybe I haven't seen people do it, but like, or I've seen like the weirdest things I've ever seen is like fucking like senior NCOs that are like at least in their 30s or maybe 40s, like hitting on like 18-year-old airmen. Like they just stop what they're doing and be like, "Hey, airman, whatever, welcome to the unit." And we're all just sitting here like, "Oh, this is gross." Why?
Hey, yeah, grow up.
It's like, this is disgusting.
Please cease your actions.
Please cease existence. It'd be better for all of us. It's like, I don't know why you exist, but knock it off.
How about we transfer you to Alaska?
I wouldn't mind going to Alaska. But whenever I hear of Alaska, I just think of the Simpsons movie.
Yeah. Alaska, the final frontier.
Well, no, I meant not you. I meant the bad airman that's hitting on the 18-year-old. They need to go to Alaska.
Not a bad alternative, I will say.
Yeah.
So, unless you guys have anything else, I think it might be time to kind of wrap this thing up. Because I'm going to I'm going to eat because I took a nap before this. And then I'm going to try and figure out what's going on with my mix amp. Because I think a certain cat ate too far into my card.
Martin,
What?
you know what that sounds like?
What?
You problem.
I have a lot of those.
I hope she doesn't get electrocuted, poor thing.
I hope the same thing. That's why I try to keep her away from everything.
Maybe if she gets tased, she'll learn quicker.
Negative reinforcement. That's the key. Right, Stephen?
Yeah, there you go. Reinforcement. That's...
Call the reinforcements. Just get a German Shepherd just staring at her from across the room.
She's seen a dog one time in her little kitten life, and I'm pretty sure it scared her to death. She didn't know what to do.
What you need to do is get a puppy. But then they will like join forces and you'll be screwed.
Oh my god, man. I won't be able to handle that nonsense.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool if you could do the thing with the treats and get Shadow to ring the bell and you put it on YouTube. That would be amazing.
It'd probably go viral.
It's very viral.
The only thing is I can't handle a dog. Or, well, I can't accommodate a dog.
No, man, no. You get Shadow to ring the bell, your cat. You teach her to ring the bell.
Yeah, that's also like trying to teach a cat how to poop in the toilet.
I mean, yeah. Like...
No, Martin, that does exist. There is little adaptive things you can for the cat to go in the toilet, and it has happened. That is a true thing.
That sounds like fighting with nature too much.
I think it was on the movie Meet the Fockers. The cat would go in the toilet.
Meet the
Funny you say
Fockers.
that did happen in real life.
But alright, if that's it for this guy, I'm gonna go back to play.
Yeah, no, thank you, Martin, for letting me be a guest.
Yeah, no
I really
problem.
enjoyed it.
I'm going to, like I said, eat and then discipline a certain cat where I don't know where she is. I'm coming for you! Yeah, that's right, I see you. Run away.
Kitty discipline.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. That literally just means like flicking her on the nose. But yeah, I will see you guys later. I'll probably be streaming on Twitch tomorrow. Knock it off.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna go eat and handle my personal business. I will see y'all later.
Okay, have a good one.
See you later.
Okay.